Okay, you're welcome back. It's time now for us to do some newspaper review. Have a look at the newspapers, what they're reporting, and then we'll go on to the online platforms and look at what's there as well. I'm going to start with Daily Guide. Daily Guide comes with a gruesome picture of the people who got burnt. Let's see, this way makes it better. Yeah, the people who got burnt in yesterday's fire. It says 5 dead in gas explosion. The fire seen around the trade fair. That's that picture right there. And then some of the injured victims. And this is really gruesome. Paved water basin flooded areas claimant. That's another story. Nana picks Alima. And that's the story that we brought you earlier. Nana Akufo-Addo conferring with Dr. Baumia at Nairi's Palace. Hajia Halima Mahama speaking at the meeting. So Nana picks Halima as local minister. And yeah, see what they've got here. At the back page, that's Christmas. And soldier grabbed with wee sack. That story is right there in the Daily Guide. And then you get a detailed story. Oh dear Lord, you get detailed story of Nana Pig Salima and then 5 dead in the gas explosion. That's really terrible, I must say. Putin pays respect to murdered ambassador. We know that a Russian ambassador was killed in Turkey, and he's been laid in state here in the picture. So those are some of the stories. Wampa's in-law jailed 13 years for cocaine. If you remember the story, the former Bank of Ghana governor had this in-law who was tracked down all the way, I think, from the UK, and then he has apparently been jailed for 13 years for cocaine. That story is there as well. And okay, I'm going to get rid of the daily drama over. All right, I'm going to get rid over the Daily Guide. So that's what the Daily Guide is reporting. The biggest story it is reporting, of course, is Nana Pixalima Mahama as local minister. Grab a copy of the Daily Guide and read it for yourself if you wish, if you may. I've got here the Ghanaian Times. The Ghanaian Times comes with a picture of the Black Queens. It says the Black Queens chase sports minister. Of course, they're chasing him for their money. Some of the placard wielding players of the Black Queens, that's what the caption for the picture there. It says ICU sends message to, ICU sends message to workers. That story is on page 18. Kotokraba market traders go to court. What are they going to court for? Let's see if we can find that on the page. Page 3. That story says 8 traders of the old Cape Coast Kotokraba market have filed an application at a Cape Coast High Court for an interim injunction against the allocation of stores in the recently inaugurated ultra-modern market. You know what that means, don't you? Okay, so that story is in the Ghanaian Times. Grab yourself a copy. It says President-elect promises to restructure SADA. That story is on page 16 and page 17. Minority caucus protest. This has to do with what's happening in Parliament, what happened in Parliament yesterday. That is the Ghanaian Times. On the back page of the Ghanaian Times, Black Queens chase sports minister for unpaid bonuses. Obviously not your typical good story. Now, the Ghana Black Queens yesterday staged a demonstration to demand payment of bonuses owed to them the entire year. Reports suggested that the original date of Wednesday for the protest was pushed to yesterday following an appeal from the Ghana Football Association. Now, they have not yet been paid. Yesterday, if you listen to them, they're saying that they believe that President Mahama should pay their money now for them because they're not sure. They think that it will take much longer should the administration finally change hands. Okay. Sapon jumps to grants defense. That is also on the back page. Let's continue with Daily Graphic. What is Daily Graphic reporting? Daily Graphic says, I will overhaul SADA. That's a story similar to the story that we saw in the Ghanaian Times. Akufo-Addo is saying that Graphic thanks God for a successful year, but if you look on the right hand side, it says gas explosion kills 9 at La Aqua. Now I don't really know which figures are being reported, because one says 5 and another says 9. Okay, it kills gas explosion kills 9 at La Accra. The story is on the back page right here, and it's the story. Gas explosion kills at least 9. The story is written by Seth Bukbe in Accra, and obviously a very sad story, like I said. And if you come in the center spread of the daily guide, you've got a very interesting story about Christmas festivities and what people are buying. Feverish preparation for Xmas in Ashanti. Shopping and heavy traffic take over. You see people, buying trousers, traffic, all kinds of things. It looks like it'll be an interesting read, actually. Grab yourself a copy of the Daily Graphic, why don't you? And find out the details of all of the stories. Graphic is thanking God for, thanks God and celebrates its hardworking staff with some awards, obviously. What else? Okay. This is the Daily Graphic, and they've got more women for 7th Parliament of the 4th Republic. And I've been discussing this particular idea or this particular story on a show that the show about women in politics. And so it's interesting. It looks like someone's, this is an opinion, looks like someone's opinion, and they put it together very nicely. Should obviously make for some good reading. And stay at post until you hand over. Volta Regional Minister directs MMDCEs, I beg your pardon, FDA to regulate blood collection. Not a bad idea, is it? So that is for the Daily Graphic. Crusading Guide is reporting Hackman highly tipped for Chief of Staff position. And while if you have followed the discussion, there's also Mrs. Madam Opare, who has also been taken, because apparently at the moment she takes care of the president-elect's staff. I beg your pardon. Highway Patrol Police officer exposed. Justice Nunukbe abuses road users, threatens to kill if challenged. Hey, really interesting. And on the story, they're on page 3 and page 10, they've got stories about President-elect's visit to the northern region to thank chiefs and the masses. So that is the story there. Very light newspaper. Highway Patrol Police officer exposed. Okay, so here it is. This is a guy who looks like he's been secretly filmed for some malpractice there. The president has no power to remove a minister from office unilaterally. That sounds like an opinion. And then we can wrap up on the weekend crusading guide. Let me continue with the Daily Statesman. The Daily Statesman says Martin Amidu chastises Mahama for last-minute appointment. Of course, there have been lots of issues about the last-minute appointment. Police recruits being sacked and replaced with protocol list. And the protocol, of course, comes in quote, protocol list, which means that, some names are being pushed in somewhere. The other story there says Richard Anamu again. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority signs another 500 million contracts today. Is that so? Deal so sourced against advice of committee, and I believe it's talking about the transition committee. President-elect is telling Nayuri that I'm counting on your support. Okay. So Let's do the Daily Dispatch. Daily Dispatch says NPP's sudden opposition to RTI bill absurd. It comes with a picture of our own Samson Ladi Ayenene and Joy FM Samson Ayenene on RTI Wahala. And that story is attributed to him there. At the back of the story, we've got publication of 2016 parliamentary election results. Parliamentary election results. Also very nice. Nicely put together. You want to grab yourself a copy of the newspaper and help yourself. Finally, I'm going to take you through the BNFT. The BNFT says Access Bank targets top spot with listing. Shippers expose draft container weighing LI. Okay, interesting. So that story is in the BNFT. Access Bank targets top spot with listing. The story is right here on page 13. And shippers oppose draft container weight. Let me see what the story is about. It says importers and exporters in the country have kicked against a draft regulation by the Ghana Maritime Authority, which will introduce new measures for container weighing in the country, saying it will burden them with unnecessary cost. I see. That's what that story is about, really. GCB disburses 23 million Ghana cedis to 900 SMEs in 12 months. It sounds like a good deal if they only bring back the returns. Grader wants 5% tax on real estate scrapped. Well, Nana Akufo-Addo has promised quite a few cuts here and there, so maybe it will apply to you. And yes, I could go on and on and on and on and on again, but that is it. That should be it for the BNFT. Okay. Well, at the back of BNFT is Kwamanma Rural Bank to expand microfinance operations. Stan Charles appoints Kweku Beduado as regional CEO for Southern Africa. Okay, let's try and do a bit of online, shall we? So I've got right, let me see what I can do here. We've got myjoyonline.com right here. Myjoyonline.com says it doesn't lie in the speaker's mouth to determine what Parliament will do. That is the minority leader, Osei Sabonsu, speaking there. It says, with only a day left for the 6th Parliament of the 4th Republic to rise, the relationship between the minority and the Speaker of Parliament appears to be getting sour. You can get that story online. If we go to the second story, trade fair gas explosion, 6 burnt to death, 12 in critical condition. That's what I was talking about, the newspaper that was reporting that 9 have died. The official figures we have here is 6 died and 12 in critical condition. 6 people are reported to have been burnt beyond recognition in a gas explosion at the something gas station behind the International Trade Fair Center. When we have a look at the third story, there is no 18 million electronic waste recycling contract. Mahama Yaga is saying that. Now he's denied illegally terminating an agreement for the setting up of an 18 million electronic waste recycling plant. You know, these are one of the things that the government is worried about, that this incoming, the outgoing government is pushing through deals too quickly and leaving them with a burden. And so that is what the story really is about. If we go to the fourth story, it comes with pictures of Natoshi and Boche and a few other members of parliament. It says minority NPP's sudden opposition to RTI bill upset, and that story is obviously from Samson Ladi Ayenene. I read that story to you in the previous papers. We can move on now. No handing over notes, no work. So that's more like a condition. So it's no handing over notes, no work, minority charges. The minority in parliament says it will no longer participate in any government business until the House is given copies of the handing over notes of the outgoing government. Number 6 will be a story. It's a report. It says a passport in 9 days, not a 9-day wonder. Director rings rings changes. There are no queues at the passport office. It now has an online service too. So the queues are now in the internet cables. It wasn't like that when the director of sounds pretty much like a an opinion. It comes to the picture of the head of passport office, Mr. Gwant. And finally, okay, last but one, Martin Amidu is saying that NDC will regret the last-minute appointment and the contracts. Like I said yesterday, and I said this morning again, the government, the outgoing government is, pushing through some contracts. The incoming government is not happy about the process because they feel that they have not been well consulted. So that's what the story is also about. And so now we can go to the final page, which will be Facebook lurking makes you miserable, says studies. There's too much Facebook brawling in Christmas and seeing all those people. I can't really see it from here, but it looks like an opinion, like a feature that lurking around on Facebook so many times, looking at your exes and looking at all the people who you could want, your crushes and all of that. It makes you miserable. Basically, that's what the story is saying. So yeah, go on myjoyonline.com, have a look at it. The top story, of course, there is what's happening in Parliament. But we could do cityfmonline.com. What's the cityfmonline.com reporting? Reject your ex gratia if something I think is daring members of Parliament. 5 dead in Labadi gas explosion. That story you know already. I'll restructure further. That is being said by Nana Adodankwa Ekufuado. That story we also brought to you. We'll boycott last-minute agreements, and I believe that is by the minority in Parliament. So that is what City is reporting. Okay, we're going to do BBC. Right. BBC Africa. What is BBC Africa saying? If we get rid of click, it will open for us to know what it is saying. So we've got Trump protest helps delay UN Israel vote. Okay, it seems that we've lost the page, have we? We've got it. Kenya MPs storm out over fight. Opposition MPs in Kenya storm out of parliament saying, claiming that they have been assaulted in the house. If you have followed the story again yesterday, we brought you that story. Today you've got a bit more details there. Family urges Berlin suspects to surrender. And Grace Mugabe loses diamond case. Nigeria megacity water warning. Okay. And yeah, it goes on with the U.S. basketball team and and Germany and all of that. Got stories from all over the world on the BBC's site. So why don't you just do yourself some good and get to, say, myjoyonline.com or ctfmonline.com and BBC, and then, update yourself with the news and information. Okay, well, having said that, I'm going to warn you or let you know, of course, that Benedict is standing by to bring us some sports. And after Benedict is done, like I said, we've got some special programming for you. We're going to help you, give you some ideas, for decorating, ideas for makeup. And then, of course, our own special carol service will come your way. Do stay with us. Up next is sports.